Hi, everybody. It's Maud here again, and welcome to your restorative yin practice on the wall. And today we're going to be targeting our hips and legs, just kind of the lower body. So I have my trusty props here behind me. I have my bolster, my two blankets, blocks, and pillows. So feel free to grab whatever it is that you have at your disposal. Could just be laying there on your living room or maybe in your bedroom, pillows, blankets, whatever it is that you need. Feel free to grab them. Otherwise, we're going to get started. So how I typically get on the wall is I try to scoot my butt on the wall like so. And then I lift my legs up. And if you have another way of getting to the wall that's not like that, then feel free to do whatever it is that you do to get on the wall. Otherwise, I'm lifting my legs up here, so feel free to feel comfortable doing that, taking your time. And I'm going to separate my legs here a little bit wider than the hips, and then just kind of plopping my ankles out, maybe doing some ankle circles, starting to already introduce some movements in the feet, so maybe pointing and flexing. And so the legs will be along for the ride as well, doing these circles. That, of course, this is a yin practice, so feel free to grab a pillow or a blanket to put underneath your head, or something to support your elbows. Otherwise, once you feel settled here, just go ahead and close your eyes or keep your eyelids heavy. And start to take some deep breaths right here to help the body settle and to also help the mind sort of be a little bit more quiet, kind of tuning out the noise. And so you can just focus your attention on your practice, on your breath here. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Inhale in. Exhale out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out, please. One more time, inhale through the nose. And then exhale, sigh it out. Beautiful. To help the body settle, find some length in the back of your neck. Maybe open your mouth and move your jaw around like you're chewing imaginary chewing gum or like you're chewing food. Definitely helps relax the jawline. And they come to your center. So the feet are just relaxed, the legs are elevated, and the body feels kind of heavier and heavier towards the ground, towards your mat with every exhale. Take a few more soft breaths right here. Maybe you're starting to inhale and exhale out through the nose, or if you're exhaling out through the mouth, that's fine too. Just make sure that you pay attention to the breath. And slowly slide the legs out a little bit farther from each other. You can plop your ankles out, turning the thighs out as well. Just stop right there. Start to spread them out a little bit more as well. And maybe the legs start to bend. So let things feel heavy towards your hip joint. You can definitely feel it. And you just know which distance between the feet is enough for you to just have that stopping point, that pausing point, and then making this pose sort of sustainable for a few more breaths. Still making the breath the focus, because the breath influences how we react and even how our muscles react. And with the help of the hands, slowly draw the knees in towards each other. Keep the heels above your knees right here. Just sort of let the thighs rest on your hands. And then maybe in time your heels start to draw a little bit closer towards your glutes. And if it does, please let the feet slide down. Otherwise, try not to be forceful about it. We're not really trying to get the heels touch the glutes or anything like that. We just want them to feel a little bit heavier and heavier towards that hip. Just letting the feet slide naturally. And then you slide your hands on top of your shins, and maybe sliding the heels down a little bit. Then you can wing your knees out to the side. And instead of pressing them down towards the wall, you can sort of just let these little bounces, these little pulses happen where you sort of give the thighs, the legs a gentle push out, 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 out. There's nothing aggressive about it. You're not really pushing them down, just letting them sort of move. And then allow some feedback to happen on the inside of the thighs and the groin. And then slowly straighten both legs up. Let's get to a figure four. So get your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Then maybe the left hand can rest on the inside of the left thigh. Just relaxing that right leg. Listening to the area in the groin. I'm still relaxed in the face. And then maybe sliding that right foot down a little bit and maybe stamping your right foot on the wall, which allows a bend to happen in that right leg and definitely gets the left foot a little bit closer to the chest. If your groin and your inner thigh is not quite ready for this hip opening, then just stay here with your leg straight. Otherwise, stay right here with the right foot on the wall and the right leg bent. And still breathing. And then slowly release this figure four. I can lengthen both legs, do some knee bounces on the wall. Also kind of shakes things up a little bit on the lower back and the glute. And then we'll find a figure four on the other side, right ankle on top of your left thigh. Right hand inside that right thigh. And again, if you want to use a block, for your hand to push, or anything that you feel that you need in order to make this pose sustainable, go ahead and do that. You can just relax that left foot. This time, breathe through the area in that right groin, the right inner thigh. Breathe all the way in. Breathe all the way out. And you can slide this left foot down. You can place the entire left foot on the wall. Again, the figure 4 shape is going to stay the same, but the right foot, the right leg is going to be a little bit closer towards your chest. Feel free to keep using the right hand to encourage this opening to happen in the hip. Letting that feeling and that sensation of surrender happen on the exhales. And then we're slowly going to release from this pose. Again, lengthen both legs. Have some knee bounces right here. So we just started to open our hips. Now we're going to internally rotate our hips. So try to bend both legs a little bit like a V. Send the left foot towards the midline and then cross the right knee on top of the left. And then slowly slide down both legs. We're going to get into this eagle shape, this Gomukhasana shape. Your hands can reach out towards the ankles or the shins or wherever in the legs it can reach out to. Or if you want, you can just use the hands to push your right thigh away from you. And the wall is like, it's such a great prop because it definitely keeps you honest. And it's one of those things where the wall doesn't budge, so it definitely gives you some feedback like, hey, stop. There's no other place to go, or you've reached your max and this is fine. So I like the wall because it definitely keeps me humble. Again, if you want to reach out to the shins and the feet, you can do that as well. Just guide the knees to go away from your chest. And relax the elbows down as much as you can. There's definitely some effort in the arms if you're reaching out for the feet and the legs. Just try not to hold onto the legs too much, that it compromises the breath. I hope you guys are breathing well, just deeper breaths. And the breath can be deep without being forceful. It can stay soft. And then slowly release from this pose. You can slide the legs up. Again, you can do those knee bounces. And since we just did some internal rotation, feel free to just make V shape with your legs, plop the ankles out, introduce some movements. Hopefully, you're not touching your plants like I am. This time, come back to center, bend the legs once again, and then have your right foot towards the midline, and the left knee is going to cross on top of the right knee. Then slide the feet down, wing your shins out, wing your feet out. And snuggle the knees as close together as they possibly can. And this is just a different orientation of Gomukhasana, right? If we were seated and this top knee was lifted, then I would encourage you guys to maybe put some blankets in between. In this case, it's a different orientation. We have our backs down. This is a supine pose. And the wall is there to kind of stop our joints and our limbs from going anywhere farther. So, like I said, the options are hands could be on your thighs, sort of gently nudging that left knee away from the chest. Or if you want, this brings more sensation to your hands can be on your ankles or your legs or your shins. And then you energetically and muscularly draw your left knee away from you. Keeping the length in the back of the neck and keeping the breathing soft. shifting your hands in the legs, giving yourselves permission to make adjustments. One breath here, inhale. Exhale. And slowly release from the pose. Slide one leg at a time. Again, you could do those knee bounces. You can do V shapes with your legs. You can kind of just move them about, whichever feels good to your groin, your hips, your legs. Now we're going to revisit those hip openers that we did. So I want you guys to kind of slide your feet in a little bit more and then turn your toes out to the side. And your hands can be on the shins and really get your lower back down on the mat. This is a lot of feedback on the inside of the thighs and the groin. Again, because the wall just keeps us honest. We're not going to go any farther. And sometimes it feels good to have maybe blocks underneath the thighs, kind of at their tallest side. Or it could be in their second phase, whichever height works for you. That way your hands can just sort of hang behind you. Or you can just lengthen your arms out if you just seriously just want to chill. Not letting your hands do anything, that's definitely an option. And in this frog pose, this supine frog pose, or Madhukasana, gravity kind of gives you feedback gradually. And eventually you can kind of feel the feet sort of naturally slide down towards the wall as the hip joint sort of becomes more allowing of that hip flexion. If you're ready for a deeper Mandukasana or deeper frog pose, you can push the blocks aside, and maybe with your hands and your shins you can gently nudge the feet and the heels to go as low as they possibly can. And today, in my body, I just feel a little bit tight, and so I'm going to keep turning my toes out. It just feels more comfortable and safe to me to do that. However, I've seen people where they prefer having the toes point out towards the ceiling and have their hands at the outside of the thigh, so it allows a little bit more activation and integration on the inside of the thigh. So feel free to do that as well, whatever feels good. Breathe in, breathe out. And then gently walk your feet towards each other. You can lengthen your legs if you want. A little bouncing, maybe revisiting those ankle circles, spreading the toes, turning the feet outward and inward. And then perhaps if you have a pillow or a bolster or a blanket in at your disposal, you can squeeze it between your thighs and bending your legs. I'd encourage you guys to open the arms and then slowly walk your feet all the way to the right side. And that way you find a nice supine pose over here with the knees to the right. Something between the thighs just encourages that neutral position of the pelvis a little bit. Then open your arms to a T or maybe field goal shape, beaming your chest towards the sky. . . 。  . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 . . . . . 。 . . . . . . . . Lower back will give you feedback, especially on that left side, even the left waist, left side body. Keeping your eyelids heavy, eyes closed, or a soft gaze sort of encourages the body and the mind and the breath to be at a softer place. It's just easier to surrender that way instead of resisting. And then, whenever you're ready, you can slowly walk your feet out to the center, finding that rainbow shape, keeping the prop between your thighs and walking all the way to the left side, making any adjustments in your shoulders. Again, you can lengthen your right arm out or you can keep it bent, but it's going to be a twist towards the left side without tensing your jawline, without tensing the space between your eyebrows, keeping your facial muscles relaxed. Restorative practices really do intend to restore energy in the body, to restore anything that we might feel depleted of, restore anything that we may have overused or even ignored and underused. So feel that energetically and really get the breath be the focus of that, because it definitely influences, how we react, how our body reacts. And then slowly walk the feet back to center whenever you're ready. If you want, for your final pose, you can place something underneath the bums. Maybe it's going to be this pillow, maybe it's going to be a block or one of your bolsters. But with the feet on the wall, gently lift your hips up and then place that prop underneath your bums. And then make the necessary adjustments that feel comfortable for you to make this your final and resting pose. And so for me, having the block here is enough. Maybe for you it's something else, something thicker, maybe it's nothing. So you just sort of honor that. And then your fingers can just be light as feathers on your belly, or you can open them up to the side. I would recommend just letting the ankles plop out, maybe turning the feet out and the legs out a little bit. Whatever takes you to a place where the legs can just hang on the wall and you don't have to think about it, you don't have to effort on anything. Keep the breath soft, even in this last pose. This practice is really good to take at the end of the day, maybe at the end of a very busy day, right before you sleep. Just elevating the legs itself, I consider it like magic. It's medicine. Whenever you're ready, you can slide the feet down, lift the hips up, taking your prop out of the way, and rolling onto a side of your choice. Gently pushing yourselves up to a nice seated position, perhaps with your back to the wall. So forgive me if I have to face away from you. Maybe hands on your thighs or hands on the belly. Could even do some movements here with your shoulders or your neck if you want. And just notice the shift in the energy as we changed altitudes from being supine to being seated. Press your palms together at the heart center, thumbs touching your chest. And maybe taking the time to bow down towards your hands. Fully aware of the changes in the body, in the legs, the hips. And fully aware that the breath is king. And we can definitely use it as a tool for so many different things, including our reactions and including our healing process, including our restoring healing process, our restorative healing practices. Thank you so much for joining in this practice. It is my pleasure to have guided you in this short and sweet restorative yin class on the wall for the hips and the legs. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my other classes. From me to you, namaste. Thank you and bye for now.